Hi everyone, welcome to our last month, the last 4 weeks of our sewing challenge. I can't believe we're already in August and we're going to be starting to gear up for that wonderful time of year where we start to sew a lot, or at least I start to sew a lot. So before we get started with this month's theme and this week's theme, my name is Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance and I'm so happy you're here. So this month, the month of August of 2021, we are going to work on application and maintenance. So we're going to hopefully be enjoying our space, gearing up for those crazy weeks ahead that we're going to start to sew a lot and really come up with some ideas of how to make that the best possible experience. I am going to get this out of the way. This week we're going to talk about cleaning your space. I know, nobody wants to clean their space. I don't want to clean my space either. But over the last month or so, I've really started developing some habits, gearing up for this video and knowing I was going to have to talk about this. So I started really building some habits and I'm so glad I did. The first thing I do is I clean up after a project. So I will take my very best friend, which is the lint roller, and I use it to clean up when I'm completely done putting everything away. I also have a scrap basket that I keep and I put all my scraps in there from the project, and I put the clips away, the scissors away, the rotary cutters, I put my rulers back, and I just clean up my space. And I do that at my sewing machine, at my cutting table, and at my ironing board. And it just gets me ready. And then when I'm finished with each space, as you can see, I take my wonderful trusty old lint roller and I clean up all the lint too. And that just makes my experience for the next time so much more enjoyable. I also cover my sewing machine because I've noticed it really has cut down on the dust that it collects, and it just makes my sewing machine a little bit healthier. This just has worked wonderful for me because I am excited to sew. Everything's ready to go, nothing's dirty, and I don't have to do all of that stuff before I start my next project or my next sewing session. So if I'm in the middle of a project, I use a cookie sheet or a box to just put everything back in, and then that way I can move it around. And I just picked up a couple extra cookie sheets at thrift shops. They work great, and you can even spray paint them a cool color, I suppose, but I just leave them like this, and they're just wonderful trays to carry about, keeping all of your stuff together. And when I'm ready to use it, I can pull that over and put it on one of my rolling carts. I'm so glad I kept them, by the way, and put it on one of my rolling carts, and then I'm able to just get started on sewing. The next thing I do is once a week I vacuum and I dust my space. Now, I hadn't been doing that really, especially the dusting part, but I've noticed such a big difference. It makes my space look a lot better. Because we're in a new house, some people like to see the house and take a tour, so that's kind of why I started doing that. It's also off of the kitchen, and when I didn't have a door, I would absolutely have to clean everything up all the time. But now that I do have a door, I kind of, got a little lazy about it, and I've since really gotten better at vacuuming and dusting the space. Also just picking things up off the floor because, of course, we have a puppy who will find any little thing that I would leave on the floor and devour it or try to eat it or something. So we have to keep things up. It's almost like having a toddler in the house. Actually, it's exactly like having a toddler in the house. She's nuts. And then finally, I want to talk to you about cleaning your machine. Now, I have talked in other videos about this. It is so important to keep your machine clean and well running. I can't stress it enough. So I have developed a habit maybe, 3 or 4 years ago where I clean my machine on the 1st of every month, and I just do it, and it takes me probably 5-10 minutes, and it's so worth it. I get all the lint out, I oil my machine, and I also replace all my rotary blades and just make sure that I'm organized at least once a month, so my sewing experience is better. And I have to say, it has improved. So I know these aren't fun things to do, but as makers, they are just going to make all the difference in the world when you sit down to sew. So that's my cleaning video that I felt the need to talk about, even though nobody likes to do it. And I'm just getting it out of the way first week so we can move on to some more fun and exciting things moving forward for the next 3 weeks. For your homework or your tasks this week, the first thing is to just try it for 1 week. Clean up after every sewing session. Allow yourself that time. So if you know that you have to stop sewing, say at 6 o'clock at night, start to clean up at 5:45, and then just the next day when you sit down to sew, it's going to be so wonderful and relaxing, and you're just going to be able to dive into your projects. So try it for a week. Just trust me on this, and you'll be amazed at how much better and how much more efficient you are as a sewist. The next thing is to establish that routine of cleaning your space at least once a week, maybe even more. I have to vacuum. I get threads all over. I don't have hardwood floors in here yet. I'm not used to having the carpet, and it really is a pain in the neck because the threads get all over. In fact, there's a really great video by Capen, and I think that's how you say her last name. Anyway, I'll put a link below to this video. She did a Dollar Tree hack on like a Swiffer type thing using Velcro. It's really cool. Anyway, I haven't done it yet, but I am planning on doing that this week, is getting the material to make that, because it will change everything, I think, with all the threads and stuff that I have on this carpet, if the puppy doesn't get to the threads first. Next, clean your machine. Clean your machine. Clean your machine. It is usually one of the most expensive things in our space. It is our major tool. We have to take care of our machine. You will be glad you did. You do not want to have any of those really expensive repair costs. Keeping that maintenance up on your machine is so important, and your machine will thank you, and it will just run happily and smoothly and hum along and not give you any problems if you keep it clean. Keep it clean, keep it clean. And finally, your fun task. I know I didn't give you a fun task last week, and I don't want to assign cleaning, although I could. All right, I guess I already did. But anyway, for your fun task, just sit back, relax, enjoy your space for like 2 or 3 minutes. If you want, make a cup of tea, put on some music, and just look around, because you should hopefully have a very clean space now, and it should just be feeling like a weight lifted off of you. At least that's the way it is for me. I'm feeling so much more productive and happy in my space, and that's what it's all about. Thank you, as always, for joining me for this video. I will see you next week as we wrap up this entire series, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do moving forward. Maybe I'll have to come up with another series, or at least take a few weeks off, because sometimes it's been stressful to get this video out. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good week. Make sure you take some time to sew, and I'll see you soon.